This controller player wins almost every fight. Meet Pump, one of the most underrated controller players. And today we're going to be analyzing his fights to find out how he actually does win every fight. In this simple fight, Pump followed a key rule that all the best fighters do, which is pre-aiming. He jumps down after seeing a player, but what's important here is as he opens the door, he moves his crosshair to predict where the player is going to run, and then tries to line up his crosshair to the player so that when the door fully opens, he doesn't have to move his crosshair as much to get a kill. Although this was a basic spawn fight, it still shows that Pump has some of the most important fighting fundamentals down. Just like in this fight where he gets jumped on as he's looting a chest, luckily he has a really good reaction time and is able to block off the shot by putting 2 layers between him and the enemy. This ramp and wall essentially makes it impossible for the enemy to shoot Pump, as they now have to spray through 2 layers instead of just 1. So as the enemy breaks the first ramp, Pump goes for a window edit reset as he knows the other player is just going to keep spraying, which allows him to go for a shot. In this situation, most players would die, but Pump somehow manages to completely box the enemy before they can shoot him. Now, instead of just going for a 50-50 and editing this ramp, Pump decides to hold his edit out and swing behind the wall, making him completely protected and allowing him to swing round on a right hand peek and get a pump shot. Then he notices the player edits their ramp and slides towards their wall, which usually means they're about to edit on you. Pump, knowing this, runs and slides to the right of the box and places this wall to block off the enemy, but the enemy panics, so Pump just makes this right hand window edit and once again strafes to the left to stay protected, allowing him to win the fight. Pump does 2 key movements in this fight that allowed him to win. First, he uses movement to strafe to the left, ensuring he's behind cover before making a peek. He also uses this slide mechanic to dodge the first shot and to get to the other side of the box faster. Using this slide to dodge bullets when you're in a bit of a sticky situation is actually an underrated way to save yourself. And keep in mind that Pump is doing all of this on 60 ping as he's playing this tournament from a different region. So use this video as proof that you can still win fights on 60 ping. But the less ping you have, the more advantage you do have in a fight. And if you want to lower your ping, then I have the perfect thing for you, which is exit lag. Exit lag uses AI to optimize your connection so you're always playing on the fastest route. And they even have a dynamic stabilizer which sends data packets through up to 4 different paths, ensuring a faster and more secure connection. So not only does it make your connection faster, but it works with over 2,000 games and has optimized servers around the world. And when I turn exit lag on in Fortnite, I went from 40 ping to 0 ping. It's super simple to use. All you do is go to the link in the description, create an account, download and install exit lag and turn it on. But exit lag knows that everyone has different internet, so to prove to you that it works, they're giving everyone watching this video a 3-day free trial, no credit card needed, so you can test it for completely free. I genuinely use exit lag every time I play, so I really recommend trying it out. And they're also doing a special discount where you can get 1 year of exit lag for half the price. So make sure to check out exit lag using the link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. As Pump is W king this game, he goes up to the loot island to kill the boss and get the medallion. Now this medallion is actually super underrated as it allows you to go invisible and have this boosted jump, which Pump uses in this next fight, where he sees this player boxed up, so he jumps so he's invisible from the medallion, allowing him to get to the top of the player's box without the enemy noticing. But he then breaks the side wall as the player would expect Pump to pressure from the top, so he does the opposite. But notice how Pump is also on a cone diagonal from the player's box. This just makes sure the enemy can't piece control you as easily. Knowing the wall was 1 hit, Pump tries to take the wall, but as he's on 60 ping, the other player just holds it. Then he notices the other player pulls his shotgun out, meaning he's probably going to edit. So Pump uses the gravity boost to get a boosted jump and place a floor to block off the enemy, as well as a wall here, and then he lands on the cone to change angles and apply pressure from a different angle. But the player takes this wall, so Pump uses this gravity boost once again to get out of the way of the player's shot. Then hearing the player run out of the box, Pump uses the gravity mobility boost once again to jump behind the player after editing, leaving the enemy completely exposed and allowing Pump to hit a pump shot before using the jump boost to close the gap between him and the opponent, as well as dropping the shield medallion to get his shield back up, which allows him to continue pressuring instead of wasting time healing. And knowing he's got the health advantage, he drops down to take the enemy's wall, but as he makes a bad peek, he gets shot in return. So he jumps out the box whilst holding the wall and then placing another wall to block off the enemy's shot. Then as the enemy sprays his wall, Pump stays calm and lines up his crosshair with the enemy, allowing him to shoot as soon as he breaks the wall, winning him this fight. He abuses the island medallion even more in this fight where he's chasing the player, but jumps and places a ramp to slide and get a boosted jump, allowing him to phase through the enemy's wall and get an easy pump shot. Real quick, I just wanted to let you know that you can use code Blexiti in the Fortnite item shop if you're enjoying the video and want to help me make more videos just like this one. It's greatly appreciated, but now let's get back to the video. Here, Pump gets jumped on but resets this wall and jumps to get height before using the boosted jump once again to get a cone over the opponent's head to block them. Then he drops down to get more piece control before going for a peanut butter edit, but unfortunately missing the shot. If Pump had done this bottom right edit, it would have been a lot safer, as he could have just crouched to get a shot, but the enemy wouldn't be able to see him. Now here he goes for another edit but confirms it too early, so the other player is able to shoot him, but he instantly places a cone and wall to box the enemy once again. Then he goes for an edit and manages to get a big pump, but also gets tagged in return, forcing him to heal. The other player eventually panics, allowing Pump to take his wall and finish the fight. But did you notice how Pump took so much damage in this fight? Well, it's actually because the other player did a really simple but effective fighting strategy, which is just holding your shotgun out and waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. It's a super simple strategy, but it works almost every time, as there isn't really a way to counter it. So don't be scared to just hold your shotgun out in a fight. Here, Pump spotted a player playing hide and seek, so knowing this player was bad, he just takes his wall but then places a floor and a ramp which phases the player up into his box. Then he makes a window edit and a ramp, but once again he holds the edit and swings behind cover before taking a shot. Now he does get hit in return, but because the player just walks in a straight line out of his box, Pump is able to get another shot and then once again uses the boosted jump from the medallion to finish the fight. Although this wasn't the best player, the fact that he phased the player up into his box was really cool. Well, in my opinion. After chasing someone across the whole map, Pump uses the bird to fly above the opponent and get some cone piece. Then he edits and resets the cone to make the player think that he's going to pressure from above, but he jumps down to change angles, which catches the enemy off guard, allowing him to grab this wall. But he notices the other player is just holding his shotgun out, so he decides not to edit. Then the enemy runs away, so Pump edits to try and full box him, but the other player manages to get away and start running again. Eventually, I think Pump just got bored, so he ran in his box and finished the fight. But what really won him this fight was getting that original cone piece, as well as that edit reset. Here, Pump starts pressuring Curve, but gets caught off guard by a big damage shot, so he attempts to build a 2x1, which, by the way, you always want to be in at least a 2x1 if you're playing defensive in a fight. And if you're clutching against more than one person, then ideally you want to be in a 4x4. The more boxes you have, the more opportunities you have to heal or get counter damage, and the less opportunities they have to damage you. But Curve then tries to run away, so instead of healing, Pump drops and picks back up the Demon's Domain Medallion, which regenerates your shield. This allows him to chase Curve and constantly apply pressure, as he doesn't need to worry about using shield. As he knows the other player hits big damage shots, he does eventually decide to pop a big pot, so he's less likely to get one pumped. Then he sprays Curve's wall, and on the second attempt gets the wall, where he does a wide edit and sprays from a box away, allowing him to get a kill. Now, knowing he had the Mythic Spy AR and creating that one box distance, he knows he can just spray with his AR to finish the fight. Throughout this video, Pump uses a lot of simple fighting fundamentals to help him win fights, and I go over more of these fighting fundamentals in this video here. But before you go, make sure to like and subscribe and use code Blexiti in the Fortnite item shop.